Today we learn how to make wubs with Serum. Real simple, less is more. We want to be able to make some bass makers to create many different types of sounds and ultimately resample them if needed to create new rhythms and flows. So let's go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. I have a lot of different examples here and I'll show you how to make all of it. Got a regular bass. Add reverb. We also have basses at different rhythms. Unique shapes. And basses that are resampled. We have lots of different ways to make these basses, different speeds, different rhythms, and we have this bass maker where we can create the sounds and resample them so that we can make all kinds of different sounds and make it easier to actually write. This is the first sound here. We have different ways that we can affect it. I'll show you how we set all these up. And then this sound is basically the same. Just has a more complex LFO shape. It's good to know how to make these unique shapes. You know, it feels more alive and it's more unique. And sometimes when you want to resample, we can make like resamples like this. Or resamples like this. We can chop them up in any different ways, cut them and fade them so that we can create dynamics just with these fades. Cool. So let's go ahead and start with the first bass maker. There's going to be a glue compressor and an OTT and this reverb, so we're going to turn these off. And then on the effects, we have a lot of different effects that we'll be going over here shortly, and all these turned off. We have a filter here too, turning this off. What's left is this LFO1 with all the automation. This is going to be placed on these levels on all three oscillators. So right now we hear them and it's moving in the shape. Well, we're going to turn off C, B. And this is what we start with. The default shape, just the saw wave. We're going to turn on P, D from B so that we can actually do some FM from this shape on oscillator B. Set up your LFO, throw it on this level, turn the level all the way down, LFO goes all the way up, and the PD from B is at 24%. You're going to add a sine wave, and you're going to put it on 4 voices. We're going to make it wide, and then we're going to turn down the detune to 0.05 to make your voices more mono. Turn on sync, and turn on bend plus minus. These are going to help just reshape this wavetable so it can change and have different variations, and it sounds cooler. Right now, sync's at 2.81 and the bend is at negative 41%. Starting to sound a little bit more full now. And then we want to add a more unique shape. This is creeper and spectral. And pay attention to these levels on both of oscillator B and C. They're turned all the way down, but we add the LFO to it and it goes up 42% and 40% here. So it's not as loud as oscillator A. Creeper off, on. What's new high frequencies you can hear now. And you can move this wavetable position whenever you want. It's at 185 right now. You could make lots of different basses just by moving this. Or changing the wavetable as well. You can easily just switch it. Cool. We have this sound in this shape. Make sure you move this right under this F here on LFO3. And we have it in half rate and triplet is turned on. So we're able to change the speed if we need to. Or even go to triplets. Right now we're just in half. We add a filter, stay on MG-Low 12, turn the cutoff all the way down and add the LFO to it. Now we're reshaping the sound with the filter. A B and C need to be on. So all these 3 oscillators go into this filter. Cool. We're going to turn up the drive 15% and turn up the resonance to 23%. Just to activate the filter a little bit more, turn up the filter a little bit more. This is the basis of the sound here. We are playing the note D sharp 0. So if we want to play the exact note I'm playing, that is it. Let's go into the effects section. We can add multiple compressors and multiple EQs, so Serum 2 is very powerful. First thing that goes on is a compressor. And we just leave it on single, gain goes up to 22. Threshold goes to -28. Or after it's turning it up a lot, distortion. We're going to put it on tube, drive is at 88%, and this mix is at 35%, so a little bit of distortion. And then this is an intense, abrasive signal, so we're going to clean it up with this EQ now. This frequency goes all the way down. We add the LFO to this frequency, and it goes up 66 to then contain the sound, remove a lot of these highs. Q's at 45. And it's this high cut shape. We're going to be doing that a lot, getting things loud, cleaning them, getting them loud again, and then cleaning them. We're going to add width now with the hyper head sound, 4 voices of unison with the mix at 35. Making it wider, fuller. Another compressor goes on. Turning it up to 12, this time multi-band's on, and it's at -18 threshold. Balancing out the sound, turning up highs, compression is always really nice. And then we're going to use this next EQ to kind of highlight some frequencies. So with this EQ, we're creating a notch here with the shape. Frequency is at 1934 and the Q's at 58. And it creates this notch here. The gain is turned up 8.5 to get it up here. The lows are being boosted. So Q's at 53, frequencies at 29 on this low cut. So just further shaping the sound, turning up some frequencies, getting it nice and beefy. And then we add a final distortion on soft sat, drives at 36. Mix is turned down at 37, but we add the LFO to the mix to go all the way up. Adding some clean final distortion. Before, which you can keep it here if you want to, or you can add this distortion. You can even lower the distortion if you need to. Really make it however you like. That's the goal here. Cool. All right, so we're gonna move on to compression because right now it's quiet. We're at -14 lefts, so we're going to turn it up. Use this glue compressor. Threshold's at -8, makeup's at 4.7. Then we use even more compression, but this time it's the company OTT. It's minimal. It's not 1 over infinite here. So we're going to change all these ratios and the thresholds. Make sure to change the settings, change the inputs, turn off the lows right here, and change your outputs, and change all these master settings on the right. Save this OTT. It is so clean, so powerful. So before, after, amount is on 47%. We're pulling about -8 LUFS here, so this is nice. We're in the single digits, and it's loud, it's presentable. We still have all the lows playing in this. Taking it to the next level, we can do a hybrid reverb parallel. So this is pretty simple. You load up a hybrid reverb. Click on the hybrid reverb and hit Command G to group it. This rack will appear, and then click on the chains here, these 3 lines. Right click right here where it says drop audio effects and hit create chain. Now we have a dry chain and a wet chain. These play together, they blend together, they run in parallel, becomes a little bit louder. We need to make sure this wet chain doesn't play any lows because our dry chain will play the lows. So we'll just throw an EQ8 on this chain and cut out all the lows at 100 or even more, maybe like 147, just so the reverb signal blends well with the dry signal. That's going to be both of them at 0 dB. We can turn down the dry and have more reverb, or we can turn down the reverb and have more dry. Depending on the reverb you pick, you'll be changing the volume and mixing them differently. You also want to mess with the dry and wet for your hybrid reverb. Your hybrid reverb needs to be set up like this. You have to click on parallel. You have to click on convolution. This is the clean convolution reverb. And then we will mess with the decay time and pull it down to around 1 to 4 seconds. We'll stay on 4 for now, and we'll listen to different convolution IRs. You use these drop-down menu and start picking different categories, and then you can pick different reverb spaces. You can turn down the decay to get it tighter, or keep it long. Tighter is usually better, for sure. Under a second, a little bit under a second. Mess with dry and wet. I usually like to keep it a little high, or at 50. And then we'll just go through these. Yeah, that sounds sick. We're going to turn up this reverb. So fast, easy effects. Keep in mind, this whole project will be in my Patreon, as well as all the presets that I've made here and the resampled basses, so you can get that, support me, and get some nice sounds right away. These bass makers are going to be able to do a lot, but it's important that we make some complex rhythms and speeds. So on this next shape, that's what we do. You can change the rate to 2 bars and start drawing in your shape. It's really going to go all by filling, because this has to be on time with your metronome, for example. So you're going to use these lines in the back, like this is the halfway point, this is the other halfway point. These lines will help guide you, and then you can go left or right to have it be a little bit delayed or a little bit fast. You can choose the exact speed, and as these progress down, these turn down, these turn up, they change the LFO, you get different sounds. Depending on how many knobs you have this LFO on, it's going to make a small difference or a huge difference. As these move down and up and get bigger and smaller. You could curve these too, which will help a lot. Have fun making shapes, because it's going to help. Then we need to learn how to resample. So this sound, the original bass maker, I'm going to turn off the reverb. We have a decent sound here. We turned it down to negative 1.8. And then we make a new audio track underneath it. Click onXt in, external in, and then click on resampling. To the right, you want to record arm this track. So click this circle, make it red, and then you can keep bass maker soloed. Keep in mind, we have this MIDI clip here that's playing this note. So you're going to want something like this set up so you can just play it. When you're ready, when you selected this clip, just hit the record button up top, and then we'll be able to resample this bass. Cool. Now we have it in audio. We'll turn off this bass. Listen to it with the song. Cool. And then you can start chopping it. So if I click this and duplicate it, I can move it on time and then start cutting, duplicating. I hit Command E to make more splits. I can chop it down more and start fading. I can even chop these and maybe fade these and make new rhythms. You can kind of just like create calls and responses. So let's say we make a little back and forth action. Make your own rhythms, make your own flows quickly. Use these fades to make sure that you do something cool and start changing the audio clips. The whole reason why we resample is Ableton's warp modes are so great. You can easily pitch in complex, but you also have tones and texture. And then if you are in complex, you can divide and multiply. And this will give you a lot of fast possibilities. Just dividing, duplicating, getting all these new tones, maybe even pitching those up. you just have another bass maker, right? Just an audio. So you want to be able to really experiment and find your flows here. Resampling is going to be very overpowered. Keep in mind, this, with all the fades, will start to turn down. So you can add another company OTT, keep it at low settings. And you can even have this hybrid rack. I saved this parallel rack, which will be in the Patreon. This will be perfect to go back on that audio. Turn down the reverb. Kind of mix these in however I want to. And we'll test some different reverbs. Yeah, that's fun. The drums are simple too. We just have a regular. We have a kick that's filtered, regular. Added the filter, removing some highs. It's the freaky Avant kick, and then we have this Neonic snare, short, tight, punchy, which helps a lot. So we got the kick and the snare rhythm like this. This is the pattern I made for the kick. And then it loops at a perfect 4 bars. The snare is always on the 0.3 up here. Added a cool vocal on 8th delay, so it like has that psychedelic feeling. And turn these up so you hear it more. Just fades out. This is a must-die drum loop, snappy perk tops. It used to sound like this. And then in these sections, I have them chopped up. So you can keep the full loop, or you can chop them up. That's drums. And then lastly, if you need your own sub, if you cut the sub out of the basses up there, for example, and need your own sub, like let's say this sound has no sub, and we need our own sub, we can make one like this. I'll show you how to make a real easy, quick, fat sub. No hassle, no strings attached, plain and simple. Listen to this with that bass. Sub is turned down to -2.8 right now, just because the song's, not super loud. But if you need a super loud song, we can put it at like -1 or turn up that sub. But we want to make this first. It's super easy. I'm going to turn off all these effects. And this is what we got. We got the analog BD sign. So instead of us doing the regular sine wave like normal, go analog BD sign and turn up this sine wave all the way to the top. And we'll get this special sign. Turn the level down, add the LFO to the level. And this is all we're going to have to do is just make this shape, put it on trigger. It's on half rate. That's the speed. You're going to move this all the way to the left, and then you're going to make these curves here on the slants. You can turn on mono at the bottom right. Once you have this, you're literally done with Serum. Let's get out of here. Add a saturator. Turn it up to 6 dB drive, 100%. This adds a lot of very clean harmonics. Add the saturator. Turn it up 6 dB, put it on 100% dry wet. Sub is sounding pretty intense right now, but then we're going to get it even more intense. Add even more harmonics. Add the kick tight corpus setting. Tune it to your root note, which right now mine's D sharp. Now we're adding a lot of harmonics, but then we got to slow the roll. We got to remove a lot of these frequencies. It's just too much. If we turn on our LUF meter, you can see it is just getting absolutely up there. So -8's cool, but we want this to be clean. So we're going to remove all of these highs. This is at 791. Or we're just doing that high cut. Cleaning it up a lot. The utility goes on, bass mono, 120 bass mono. We could even do like 175 bass mono. Nice. Easy, quick, fat sub. I hope you guys learned a lot watching this. Wub making, resampling, new ways and fast, different ways to create variations in Wubs. Remember, basic shapes, saws, squares, combining multiple wavetables, you're going to get a lot of different fast results, and reshaping with those filters, those EQs and the filters, removing and cutting frequencies with the movement. Keep practicing and you're going to be able to get it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit me up if you have any questions. Comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you can, and thank you for the support. Have a great day. I will see you guys soon. Peace.